going on, guys? I want to make a brief video on my Poulan PR621, which is a 6 horsepower 4-cycle engine, 21-inch wide. These are now the new wave of single-stage snowblowers, which have by far more power than your typical old single-stage units like this over here, the 2-cycle single-stage units. Now, these do a decent job, don't get me wrong, but this is a 208 cc LCT 4-cycle engine. That's the same engine you find on a lot of the the Aarons that are 22 to 24 inches wide, and those are the dual stage machines, and this is on a single stage unit. Okay, so if you get an idea, the fact that that same engine is put on dual stage units, is on this machine, shows you, would tell you immediately exactly how much more power is under the hood of one of these things. It's heavier than a old school version, the old school kind, which they're not making these 2-cycle motors anymore for single stage units. Okay, I had a conversation with a couple people, my buddies on Long Island, Henry for example, because he had the Toro, I forget exactly what it's called, Power Pro something, the 24-inch wide machine, okay, that has a 2-cycle engine, which I think is rated at 141 cc. Don't get me wrong, that was the biggest single stage they ever made, but not the most powerful. Okay, not anymore. These things knock it out of the park. Husqvarna makes these Poulans, and Husqvarna has a version that's 250 cc's 4-cycle engine with lights. Those things are now top dog as of 2020. You go back 10-15 years, that Toro, yeah, that was the biggest thing there was. Okay, by width they would still be the biggest. I don't know why they don't even make, they should, they're putting big 4-cycle engines on these. They could easily make a 24 wide single stage. But anyway, I just want to demonstrate how well it actually throws snow. I've got a little bit of pretty heavy wet stuff right here I'm going to throw, and I'm going to film it. And if that doesn't come out well, I'll film some of this stuff here if I have to, but I'm going to film it. I want to show exactly how well these things hit the snow, how hard and how far they throw them, because these are now by far the leading units as far as the single stage machines go. And the other nice thing is they clear all the way down to the pavement, and they will clear slush. They will not clog like a dual stage. So I just want to demonstrate it to give people a real idea of exactly what we're talking about here, because this isn't oil and gas mix. You've got a separate oil compartment and gas compartment. This is a 4-cycle motor outfitted into one of these single stage units. These came along in the last 10 years or so. Before that, you had the old school 2-cycle engine units, which, don't get me wrong, these do a good job, but they're nowhere near as powerful as one of these things is. Nowhere near. So I'm going to film it. I'm going to film throwing some of that snow out there to show exactly how well these things do. So let me just get this camera set up in a position. There we go. That should do it. I want to get you guys to see exactly how well these suckers throw snow. The other interesting thing to note, this engine doesn't even sound like it's revving very high. It's probably at like 3,400 RPM. They're also quieter than the old 2-cycle units. Let's see it throw some snow. I don't know if you caught that on film. That threw that all the way over to my neighbor's driveway. Okay, that's gotta be at least 25 feet. And it had to be going about almost 20 feet in the air. Those old 2-cycle units did not throw them as far as these. I'm sorry, they did not. Alright, and that's only just a little bit. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna get as much of that as I can. That over there is a pile of leaves, so I can't go into that far. But I am gonna hit some more of this. And I want you to see, this thing just clobbers it. And that's slush down there, and it's throwing it 25, 30 feet. 20 feet in the air. Those big Toros, they didn't throw that far. Those things threw maybe 10, 15 feet. Okay? These are the new wave. This is what I'm trying to explain to people, because a few people, Jason, I don't think he believed me. Even Henry, he didn't believe me. He stood by what he said, that Toro, those Toros were the biggest, most powerful single stage machines there ever were. They're still the biggest, but they're not the most powerful anymore. Not by a long shot. They're sticking 6 horse, 6.5, 7 horsepower 4-cycle engines on these things now, and they launch the snow like a dual stage without the second stage, and they don't clog, and they go right down into pavement. So that's something that those old ones just didn't do. Alright, let me show a little bit more of this in action. Bear with me, now I can't get this. I gotta get my tripod eventually, but I just wanted to make a quick demonstration video of this. I'm clearing my parking spot, and I want to show how well these things work. Yeah, hopefully that holds. Let's do this. It shoots it sideways far too, but it was hitting the top of that branch. That's easily got to be almost 20 feet. It was hitting over the top of that branch. This is all heavy wet slush. There's no steady area. I'm going to try to get a little bit more to show. But if you're doing this steadily, like if you have a steady amount, it's going to launch it for a while pretty good. Let me get, let me go over here. was on pavement and I had that type of snow, this thing would steadily continue to launch that. But that's true that all the way over to his driveway, that's almost 30 feet. And that was 20 feet high up in the air. These things are no joke. So that's why I just want to make a quick demonstration video on these new units. I almost sold this machine. I got this machine free last year. The guy who owned it put way too much oil in it. He filled this thing all the way up with oil, like he was filling it with gas. So it was basically, you know, it was locked. It was locked because it had too much oil in it. So I drained it out, gave it an oil change, and it was fine. And then I replaced the scraper, and I just put brand new paddles on it. But even with the old ones, it was throwing great. But these machines were about $699, and I got it for nothing. I put maybe 50 bucks into it by now. And I just want to demonstrate exactly what these are about. These are no joke. These are the new wave of the two-cycle machine, of the single-stage machines that have taken over the two-cycle motors, and they launch the snow. So that's my demonstration. And as far as I know, the Poulan that they're making now, they're not using the 208cc anymore. They went down to a 168cc, I believe. But the Husqvarna, they still make one with a 208cc, and they've got one with a 250cc four-cycle motor. That one's got lights on it. I can tell you right now that Husqvarna is the king of the single-stage snowblowers as of 2020. But I almost sold this, and the guy that bought it, I told him I decided not to sell it. He was very disappointed because he said the same thing. He knew exactly how well these things threw, and he wasn't going to get one at the price I was selling it for again. So, all right, guys, I want to show that. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next video, and please don't forget to subscribe. Give me the thumbs up if you thought this video was good and helpful, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of these machines over the old single-stage machines, and what you think in general about these units. If you don't have one and you never used one, you can't leave a comment on how they work, because you can't tell me because you don't know. Try one out and then give me your feedback on it. All right, but I can tell you they're better than the old two-cycle ones. The two-cycle ones are decent. I still have a decent 5-horse 20-inch snapper. It's a nice machine, but it does not throw as far and hard as this unit does. Nowhere near it. All right, guys, later.